What if Malaysia's next big transport revolution isn't the once aborted Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail, but something already humming quietly to life across the country? While the high-speed rail continues to remain a political mirage, another system, slower, steadier, and much closer to completion, may be about to redefine how millions move between Malaysia and Singapore. In this video, we explore Malaysia's electric train service, or ETS, a project 15 years in the making that could finally transform the way people travel across the peninsula. Stay with us until the end, as we uncover whether this new rail system could truly fill the void left by the Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail, a project now being reconsidered for revival. In 2010, Malaysia launched its first electric train service, marking the start of an ambitious mega-project to modernise a century-old rail network. The goal was simple, yet bold: to replace the outdated diesel lines running along the west coast with a sleek, double-tracked, fully electrified system spanning nearly 1,000 kilometres from Padang Besar on the Thai border all the way down to Johor Bahru in the south. 15 years later, that dream is almost reality. By the end of 2025, the final stretch between Kluang and Johor Bahru is set to be completed, connecting Malaysia's southern gateway directly to its capital, Kuala Lumpur. Once that happens, the entire west coast of Peninsular Malaysia will be joined by a continuous electric railway for the first time in history. The implications are profound. The ETS will cut travel time between Johor Bahru and Kuala Lumpur to just 3.5 hours, half of what it currently takes by diesel train, and on par with driving, but without the agony of traffic. This single upgrade could open up a new era for domestic mobility. For Malaysians who travel regularly between the country's major cities, Penang, Ipoh, Kuala Lumpur, and Johor Bahru, the ETS promises comfort, affordability, and reliability. It's fast enough to matter, yet cheap enough to reach the masses. And for hundreds of thousands of Malaysians who work in Singapore, it could be life-changing. For decades, the Malaysia-Singapore border has been a bottleneck. Every morning, tens of thousands cross the causeway, often enduring hours-long traffic jams. Buses crawl, cars stall, and the daily grind wears on commuters who live in Johor but work in Singapore. But that could soon change. By the end of 2026, another long-awaited project, the Johor Bahru Singapore Rapid Transit System Link, or RTS Link, will begin operations. The RTS will connect Singapore's Woodlands North Station with Johor's Bukit Chagar in just 5 minutes, with immigration clearance done on both sides before boarding. And here's where the real game changer emerges. Bukit Chagar RTS station sits just a short sheltered walk from Johor Bahru Central, the southern terminus of the electric train service. With a simple transfer via Travelator, travellers from Singapore could step off the RTS, walk into JB Central, and board the ETS to Kuala Lumpur, all within minutes. For the first time, rail connectivity could link Singapore directly to Malaysia's entire west coast, without the need for a dedicated high-speed rail. A commuter could leave Singapore in the morning, clear customs, and be in downtown Kuala Lumpur by early afternoon. No airport queues. No highway gridlock. No wasted hours. That combination, RTS plus ETS, may quietly deliver what the long-touted high-speed rail promised: fast, affordable, and convenient intercity travel across borders. The ETS may not boast the headline-grabbing speeds of a high-speed train, but it's still a massive leap forward from Malaysia's past. Travelling at up to 160 kilometres per hour, each train carries 346 passengers and makes up to 22 trips daily. Commuters describe it as smoother, quieter, and more comfortable than any diesel train before it. Inside, the cabins are spacious, the seats recline, and the air conditioning hums clean and cool, a far cry from the boxy, aging trains of the past. The system also comes in different service tiers: silver, gold, platinum, and express, offering varying levels of comfort and stops. The most direct routes can bring passengers from Johor Bahru to Kuala Lumpur in just over 3.5 hours. But perhaps what makes the ETS truly transformative is not just the experience, but its reach. The line connects dozens of towns: Kuala Lumpur, Ipoh, Taiping, Butterworth, Alor Setar, and soon Johor Bahru, forming a continuous economic spine that runs through the heart of peninsular Malaysia. For smaller towns like Kluang and Segamat, the arrival of the ETS is already sparking change. Businesses near the stations are seeing more visitors. Tourism, logistics, and retail are gaining new life as accessibility improves. Observers have noted that these towns, once bypassed by rapid urbanisation, are now being reconnected to ports, airports, and industrial hubs. The ETS doesn't just move people, it moves opportunity. Still, progress hasn't come easy. The ETS has faced repeated construction delays. Originally, the southern extension to Johor Bahru was meant to be completed by 2021. But land acquisition issues, power supply constraints, and pandemic disruptions pushed the timeline back by years. Local reports also described incomplete signalling systems and unfinished electrification works along the final phase toward JB Central. Malaysia's Transport Ministry, however, maintains confidence that the project remains on schedule for completion by the end of 2025, with construction being completed in phases to ensure technical precision and safety. Even so, doubts remain. Transport experts warn that constant delays risk eroding public confidence in the mega project being completed on time. Transparency, they argue, is crucial. The public needs clear communication, why delays happen, and what's being done to fix them. After all, this is not just another rail line. For millions, it's a promise of easier lives, faster commutes, and better connections across the country. But here's the question that has defined every conversation about Malaysia's rail future. Can the ETS replace the Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail? To answer that, one must understand what the HSR was meant to be. Proposed in 2013, the high-speed rail was envisioned as a 350-kilometre corridor linking Kuala Lumpur and Singapore in just 90 minutes, with stops in Malacca, Muar, Batu Pahat, and Iskandar Puteri. It was designed to be Southeast Asia's first cross-border bullet train, a rival to Japan's Shinkansen and China's high-speed lines. But after years of negotiations, delays, and financial wrangling, the project collapsed in 2021. Malaysia paid over 100 million Singapore dollars in compensation to Singapore, citing cost concerns and disagreements over the project's governance. Since then, talk of reviving the HSR has resurfaced under Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's administration. Yet, with public debt exceeding R1 trillion and competing infrastructure priorities, the project remains on indefinite hold. In the meantime, Malaysia's government has turned its attention to what it already has, the ETS. Officials now view the ETS as a viable substitute for rail travellers between Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. It's not as fast, but it's cheaper, greener, and more accessible. However, transport experts caution that the ETS, while valuable, serves a different purpose. The HSR was designed to link two global economic hubs, Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, catering to business travellers who currently fly the route. The ETS, on the other hand, is built for domestic connectivity, linking cities, towns, and communities along Malaysia's western corridor. Where the HSR would cut a direct 90-minute path between capitals, the ETS and RTS combination will take roughly 4 hours. Yet the ETS costs only a fraction of the price to build at 9.5 billion ringgit, far less than the estimated 100 billion ringgit HSR mega project. In that sense, the ETS represents a more pragmatic vision, not glamour, but utility, not speed, but accessibility. It's the kind of infrastructure that helps ordinary Malaysians, not just executives or investors, move freely across their own country. When the RTS and ETS lines converge at Johor Bahru Central, it will mark the beginning of a new regional transport ecosystem. But successful integration will depend on more than just trains. Experts have urged improvements to pedestrian connectivity between the RTS station at Bukit Chaga and JB Central. Covered walkways, travellators and lifts are already planned, but much will hinge on execution. Without smooth transfers, congestion in Johor Bahru's city centre could worsen instead of easing. If all goes to plan, travellers could one day move from Singapore's MRT network onto Malaysia's ETS line without ever leaving a rail system. That's the kind of integration that could quietly reshape the region without the political theatre of a high-speed rail. In the grand scheme of things, the electric train service is more than just a transport project. It represents Malaysia's broader struggle between ambition and pragmatism. The HSR may have captured headlines with its promise of 350 km/h speeds and futuristic glamour. But the ETS, with its steady progress and tangible benefits, might achieve what the HSR never could: deliver real change to everyday lives. It's also a greener choice. Electric trains emit far less carbon than diesel buses or domestic flights. In an age of climate urgency, that makes the ETS not just a transport upgrade, but a step towards sustainability. And unlike the HSR, which would primarily serve the elite corridor between Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, the ETS serves the nation as a whole, connecting farmers, factory workers, students, and families from every corner of the West Coast. So perhaps the story of Malaysia's transport future isn't about the race to build the fastest train, but the race to build the right one. The electric train service may not be as fast as the high-speed rail. It may not carry the same prestige, but it's real. It's here. And it's connecting lives across an entire nation. When the final stretch opens at the end of 2025, it will mark more than the completion of a rail line. It will mark the dawn of a new journey, one powered not by politics or prestige, but by the simple promise of progress. Because sometimes, the most revolutionary ideas don't arrive at 350 km/h. Sometimes, they arrive right on time. But did you know that besides the HSR, Malaysia is also in talks with Singapore about other cross-border services, including buses and taxis? Why is Malaysia pushing for this, and where does Singapore stand? Watch this video to uncover the full story.